The richest black families in Mississippi nobody talks about. A 20-unit strip mall purchased on a 7-figure deal in a town most Americans cannot find on a map. A real estate empire built on the bones of a yellow fever epidemic that emptied an entire southern city. And a kid born in a Mississippi town of fewer than 700 people who walked out of that town and into history as the first black billionaire America ever produced. 3 families, 3 centuries of black wealth in the poorest state in America. The Reimonenq family of Hattiesburg, building a modern-day Black Wall Street from a strip mall almost no one outside Mississippi has heard of. The Church family of Holly Springs, whose patriarch was born enslaved and died one of the wealthiest men of any race in the American South. And number 1, a Mississippi-born media mogul whose 2001 deal rewrote the entire definition of black wealth in the United States. We are not going to name him yet, but by the time you hear what he sold and what he walked away with in cash, you will understand why Mississippi is not the story America thinks it is. Mississippi, the poorest state in the country by almost every economic metric, the state with the largest percentage of black residents in America, the state where, by one widely cited figure, only around 3% of African Americans have ever independently brokered a $1 million deal. And yet, hidden inside that brutal arithmetic, there is another Mississippi. A Mississippi of quiet wealth, of land deeds passed down 5 generations, of funeral homes that became hospitals, of families who turned Jim Crow's exclusions into the very blueprint for black economic power. The richest black families in Mississippi are not the ones you have heard of. They are the ones the official story keeps forgetting. Number 3. The Reimonenq family, the modern-day architects of a new Black Wall Street. In 2022, a Mississippi family did something that, statistically, almost no black family in the state had ever done. They independently brokered a $1 million real estate deal. The purchase places the Reimonenq family among Mississippi's roughly 3% of African Americans to have ever independently brokered a $1 million deal. 3%. That single statistic tells you everything about the wall they had to climb. Tony A. Reimonenq Jr., his wife Elizabeth, and their 3 sons are the family behind Reimonenq and Company LLC. The asset at the center of their story is Greenwood Plaza, a 20-unit strip mall in the Oak Grove community of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The name itself is a thesis statement. Greenwood, of course, is the original Black Wall Street, the Tulsa, Oklahoma district that was firebombed and erased in 1921. Tulsa's Black Wall Street began when O.W. Gurley, a wealthy businessman from Arkansas, moved to Tulsa in 1906. Gurley opened a store on 40 acres of land he purchased and named the street on which it sat after a city in Mississippi called Greenwood. So when the Reimonenqs put that name on a Hattiesburg plaza in 2022, they were not borrowing history. They were bringing it home. The deal almost did not happen. Reimonenq spent close to a year negotiating, getting turned down by banks, and walking away from clauses that he said could have been fatal to the enterprise. He has spoken publicly about being priced out of prime locations earlier in his career, the kind of structural exclusion that defines commercial real estate for black entrepreneurs across the South. Eventually, he secured a creative financing arrangement that beat what the banks had refused him. The result was a 20-unit hub designed to house black-owned barbershops, beauty salons, trade schools, real estate brokers, lending institutions, medical offices, and event spaces, all under one roof. The legacy lever is the part most coverage misses. The Reimonenqs are not just landlords. They are also the stewards of a nonprofit called the Linked Up Empowerment Center, explicitly built to mentor first-time black entrepreneurs and to prevent the price-out story Reimonenq himself lived through. The plan integrates educational workshops, mentorship programs, and business training inside the plaza's walls, turning commercial real estate into a kind of vertical school for black ownership. The footprint is small. The blueprint is enormous. They are not chasing fame. They are building the kind of community-anchored Black-owned business infrastructure that Mississippi has not seen at scale since the early 20th century. Number 2, the Robert Reed Church family, Mississippi's first dynasty of Black wealth. He was born enslaved. He died one of the wealthiest men of any race in the American South. Robert Reed Church Sr. was born in Holly Springs, Mississippi on June 18, 1839, the son of Charles B. Church, a white steamboat captain, and Emmeline, an enslaved seamstress who died when Robert was 12. Those are the bare facts. The story between them is one of the most extraordinary wealth-building arcs in American history. He was Mississippi-born, and his fortune was made along the Mississippi River and rooted in Memphis. As a young man, he worked as a cabin boy on his father's steamboats, surviving the burning of the luxury steamer Bulletin No. 2 in 1855. During the Civil War, his riverboat was captured by Union forces. He escaped, settled in Memphis, and started the only kind of business an unlettered freedman could start in the 1860s, a saloon. Then came 1878. The yellow fever epidemic emptied the city. White property owners fled and dumped real estate at fire sale prices. Church stayed. He bought commercial corridors, downtown property, and Beale Street. By the 1880s, he was the largest African-American landowner in Tennessee. By the 1890s, his real estate portfolio, hotels, restaurants, and saloons had carried him across a line no Black American in the South had ever crossed. He was, reputedly, the South's first African-American millionaire. The numbers are staggering. Contemporary estimates valued his estate at over $1 million in 1912, tens of millions in today's money. He founded Solvent Savings Bank in 1908, the first Black-owned bank in Memphis. He extended credit to Black families to buy homes and start businesses. He built Church Park and Auditorium, a 2,000-seat venue that hosted President Theodore Roosevelt in 1902. A man born enslaved in Holly Springs, hosting a sitting U.S. president inside a building he owned. That is not wealth, that is structural power. His daughter, Mary Church Terrell, became a founding member of the NAACP. The Church family was Mississippi-born old money. Before old money in Black America was supposed to exist. Number 1. The Robert L. Johnson family, the Mississippi-born architect of the first Black billion-dollar fortune. Robert Louis Johnson was born in 1946 in Hickory, Mississippi, the 9th of 10 children of Edna and Archie Johnson. His mother was a schoolteacher, his father was a farmer. Hickory was a town of fewer than 700 people, 25 miles west of Meridian. His great-grandfather had been enslaved, and the land the family farmed had been passed down from him. They raised cotton and timber, earning modest farming income. That was the Mississippi Robert L. Johnson was born into. The family eventually relocated to Freeport, Illinois, when poor harvests made the farm unworkable. The Mississippi soil shaped him. The Mississippi economy could not hold him. The arc from Hickory to the first Black billionaire is one of the most studied wealth-building stories in American business history. As a cable industry lobbyist from 1976 to 1979, Johnson noticed that the African-American television audience was being overlooked. That noticing is the entire fortune in a single sentence. The cable industry was building distribution to every household in America, and no one was building programming for the nearly 30 million Black Americans inside those households. Johnson borrowed $15,000. John Malone of TCY invested $320,000 for a 20% stake and lent him another $180,000. On January 25, 1980, Black entertainment television went on the air for 2 hours on Friday nights. BET turned its first profit in 1985. In 1991, it became the first Black-controlled company listed on the New York Stock Exchange in the entire history of American capitalism. This came from a kid born in Hickory, Mississippi. In 2001, Viacom acquired BET for $3 billion. Johnson earned over $1 billion from the sale, making him the first Black American billionaire. 1 billion. Liquid, from a single transaction, from a man whose great-grandfather had been someone else's property. He did not stop there. He founded RLJ companies, which sprawled across hotel real estate, private equity, financial services, automobile dealerships, professional sports, and gaming. In 2002, he became the first black majority owner of a major American sports franchise, the Charlotte Bobcats. A team later sold to Michael Jordan in a quiet black-to-black transfer of franchise wealth almost no other ethnic group in America has ever pulled off. Before April 2001, a black American billionaire was a hypothetical. After April 2001, it was a category. Johnson kicked the door open from the inside. Mississippi is supposed to be the bottom of the American economic ladder. For black families, statistically, it almost always has been. And yet inside that bottom, against odds that read more like a sentence than a starting line, the richest black families Mississippi ever produced kept building anyway, creating hidden wealth. Real estate empires, family-owned commercial portfolios, the first black bank in the South, the first black-controlled company on the New York Stock Exchange, the first black American billionaire. Mississippi quietly produced all of it. The official story just forgot to mention. Which of these three Mississippi families surprised you the most? Did you know the first black billionaire in American history was born in a Mississippi town of fewer than 700 people? Drop it in the comments. If this is the kind of deep dive you came here for, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the next one in this series goes even further into the hidden black wealth of the South. Places, families, and fortunes the official record keeps trying to leave out. Click the video on your screen right now and keep going. See you on the next one.